Hey guys, Billie Becker here from beasexpert.com, blogging with TheRealvolution, and this week I'm going to be talking about quality versus quantity. In our society, there's typically two ways that we approach sex. There's the more masculine way, which is the goal is to have more and more partners, so more quantity. And then there is kind of the feminine approach, which is to have better quality sex. Now, I'm not saying that this is the way it is across the board. And I'm not saying that this is individually how it goes. But I wanted to discuss this dynamic because I have had that experience in a lot of my practice. So I will explain how this came about, how this topic came about. I did a series of workshops. It was 10 weeks of workshops. Every Wednesday I did a workshop, and the range of audience could be anyone from the community came in. So it was college students, older couples, married couples, single old people. I mean, it was kind of a mix of everybody. Heterosexual, homosexual, transgender. I mean, it was kind of a wonderful rainbow. One week I did a workshop on like flirting, and flirting would get like a pretty normal attendance. The next week I did a workshop on fingering. The fingering workshop covered techniques and safety practices and anatomy, verbiage, and all sorts of things. But there was probably only 5 or 6 people that showed up to the class, which broke my heart because fingering isn't easy. Anybody who's done it knows that it's a very complicated process, especially because it's so unique to every single woman. The week that followed that, I did a workshop on blowjobs, and there was standing room only. I mean, there were tons of people in the room, and it was everybody. It was couples, it was young people, old people, transgender people. It was all types of people, which was wonderful. I really appreciated people coming to learn more about it, but in my head, blowjobs was such a more simple topic than fingering, but I couldn't understand why would people come to a blowjob workshop over a fingering workshop. This is how I got to quality versus quantity. My understanding of the way this works is that when a guy goes to brag about a sexual encounter with his friends, it doesn't typically, in my experience, go something like, oh man, I went down on her so well, she had 20 orgasms, it was the best sex of her life. That's not typically what it sounds like. It's like, oh my god, I banged this chick the other day, 3 chicks the other day. And that's me kind of sounding sexist and like men are unintelligent. And that's not my intent. My intent is to say that when guys talk about it, what I hear mostly from my male friends is like quantity. Like they talk about numbers and that they got to do it. When I talk to my girlfriends, it's like, oh my god, I had 20 orgasms and it was amazing and he was so nice about it and we cuddled afterwards, and it's like a quality thing. Again, I have friends who are very, very willing to talk about numbers, and I have male friends who talk about great sex. But I think that in general, that those are kind of the route that we go. And then I wonder why that is. And I think it's because as a male, if you're interested in quality of sex, then you're seen as being like gay. You're seen as being too feminine. You're seen as being all of these qualities that we have deemed totally negative. But what women want is great sex. Because what girls are talking about, at least what I talk about with my friends, is having great orgasms and having that emotional connection and that emotional sex. What confuses me is that the guys want the numbers, but if girls talk about numbers, like, oh, I had sex with 3 guys this weekend, then they're seen as being sluts or too promiscuous. The girls can't actually go for what the guys are talking about, and the guys can't go for what the girls are talking about, which I think creates a dichotomy that is kind of painstaking. My question to you guys is, does that seem true in your life? Do you fit into a feminine or a masculine role where you either seek out quantity in numbers or quality in the actual act of sex itself? Is my observation wrong? Why would you go to a blowjob shop over a fingering shop? If you guys have any other input, that would be great. And next week, we're going to be answering questions from viewers. So if you guys have any questions for me, you can feel free to send them in a comment, and I will answer them next week. And if you want any ideas on questions or comments, you can also check out my YouTube channel at bsexpert.com. And we will see you next week. I'm excited to hear from you all.